All right, all right. Hey, hey. Hi, guys. Welcome back. All right, so we're going to jump on into a specific message. Oh, before I forget, these specific messages are the ones where I leave the comments on. And if you guys watch this sometime between now and next Monday, if you would like to enter to win, you can just type the word heal into the comments, HEAL. That gets you entered to win for next Monday. And each Monday I pick a random winner out of the comments and I do a storytelling for them. So sorry, I'm looking for a hair clip and I don't have any around right now. So we'll just we'll just flow. But if I start sneezing because my hair is tickling my face, I'm sorry. All right, so this is one of these specific messages. I kind of do these if something pops up. I was picturing somebody with green toenails, or maybe it was a bruised toe, and I really couldn't tell what it was, but it was just there was green on a toe. But it could have been, like when the a bruise goes like blue, green, you know, from like purple to blue green as it's healing. That's maybe what we were seeing. I don't know if somebody stubbed a toe. I don't know if somebody is just painting their toenails, making something pretty on their feet, but we shall see where this takes us. Hi, everyone. So nice to see you all. We have a Nine of Wands and the Man of Swords. So a King of Swords. Somebody's a busy little bee. I don't know if somebody is like buying honey right now or putting honey in their tea. I'm picturing somebody who's like, I don't know why I picture them like accidentally like getting it kind of all over the place and like, oh, there it is. And, licking it off their elbow or something, or I guess this is my wrist. This is my other elbow. um, uh, but like putting it into something or drizzling it on like yogurt or something. Um, it's not really, at least where I'm at, we don't have, so many bees out and about anymore. But I don't know. Maybe this is Halloween costume. Somebody's going to be a bumblebee or something. But it feels like we have a busy bee. There's a lot going on in this King of Swords life. Now, he's wearing his Spanish conquistador outfit here. So this could tell us something about his personality. He could think of himself as needing to conquer something that doesn't have good connotations for me, because the Spanish conquistadors were not such great guys. But I'm not applying that to him necessarily. I'm just saying if he thinks he has to go and conquer something, and he's wearing his armor, it says he's already on the defense. And so I don't know, this Nine of Wands is also somebody who's already been wounded. So it feels like he thinks he's going into battle to defend himself, but also to like kind of plant his flag. Now we have the Lovers card. Somebody could have freckles or a birthmark or some kind of could be also paint splatter or something against like somebody's wall, or if somebody's using a blender or something, it could be splatter of something popping out of their blender. But we have him thinking about a lover, obviously. And I kind of think that this feels like this is the part that he's feeling vulnerable over. I'm going to say vulnerable, even though we see him a little bit more like I'm wounded, but I have to go and conquer this fear because I need to talk to this lover. But he's clearly bothered by something. And yet the Lover's card is upright. So he still wants this. Ace of Cups. He still loves this person. And I always think of this as having a perfume bottle on it. So I don't know if somebody smells really nice or if, somebody has a nice cologne or a perfume. But we could say it's all about the pheromones, but obviously I also think of this as love bombing because this kind of has this cartoon imagery for me that reminds me of like the little TNT, that we see in like cartoons as kids, the little black, little bomb that was like in so many cartoons. That's kind of what this reminds me of, that perfect round with the little wick on it, or fuse on it. But this is actually a perfume bottle, but I can't help but think sometimes about like a love bomb, which then makes me think of a great song by Tom Jones, Spy on Me, Baby, You Satellite. Infrared got you seeing through the night. It's actually, the song is called Sex Bomb, and it's very like cheese ball beyond belief. And so, of course, I love it because that's straight up my alley. But And even those lyrics, spy on me, baby, you satellite. Um, we're bringing in a little bit of goofiness here, perhaps. Um, but maybe he's been spying. I mean, why are those lyrics coming to mind, right? We got the Seven of Cups. He has no idea what's going to happen. So this is, I'm not making light of the fact that he's really nervous, that he feels like he's going into battle. He already feels battle weary. Like there's nothing here that says that he's expecting a fight, perhaps. Maybe he thinks of love as a battlefield, right? I know this can be musical message, isn't it? Right? Love is a battlefield. Uh, oh God, what's her face? 80s. Is that Benatar? Pat Benatar? Um, this feels like he's looking at a situation that he really wants. Also, somebody's like eating cheese right now. Like, I don't know if they're like nibbling on it, if it's like, whatever, cheese and crackers or something, but we've got, this makes me think of cheese so much. Maybe because I'm thinking of Swiss cheese, but that's not what they're eating. It's not about Swiss cheese. It would be like more of a, I don't know, like a cheddar, or maybe even some kind of imported something or other. Not Swiss though. Sorry, another weird side note. They're worried. This character is worried because their heart's at stake here. Maybe they have been spying. Maybe they have been thinking heavily about this. Maybe they obviously want love, right? With that heart. I didn't paint that on this card. It's on there. It's part of the artwork. I just feel like this is somebody who has like such a nervous energy. The King of Swords has such a nervous energy when it comes to like offering his heart, even though that's what he's gearing up to do. Can I just ask, why all of the tension around this? Why are you wearing armor to this event? We have the Chariot sideways. That actually, I read it as armor. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe he's riding a motorcycle or something. And it's like, well, I have to wear a helmet. I have to wear, like some kind of, like the exoskeleton type of, motorcycle jacket for protection. We could look at it that way. But the Chariot can literally be about travel. It can be about a vehicle. It can be about moving forward, but it's also about our emotions. So it might be like, well, come on, I got to protect my emotions somehow. Like this is nerve-wracking. Why is it nerve-wracking to go towards somebody, possibly a Gemini, feminine, that it seems like you've seen naked before? Because those folk, I had to draw bikinis on. He got some Speedos, she got a bikini. I I have a whole nother deck of cards that I have to spend some quality time going through each card and drawing them on underpants and swimsuits and such, and fig leaves and all kinds of things. I haven't been able to use this other deck that I got like a month ago because I haven't had time to sit down and go through each card to make it YouTube appropriate. But it's weird when you sit there and do that for like 2 hours. We got a Six of Wands here. All of this feels a little bit like he wants to have success, right? But the nervousness comes from the fact that he wants us so much. And, we all want to have success, especially with that Six of Wands. This does really have a very Spanish flavor to it, by the way. Maybe some Catholicism, maybe, I don't know. There's the look of this, I don't know what you'd call it, like the top of a staff or something, or a scepter, or maybe this is a gigantic, beautiful, ornate, piece of jewelry or something, but it feels very Spanish to me. So just as a side note, that could be our character's heritage. Our King of Swords could have a Latin influence to him. But this all comes out like he really wants to be successful. He really wants this to be, this is about romance and it's about his heart. So to his credit, he's taking it very serious. Of course, he'd be nervous because he doesn't know what the outcome's going to be. And nobody wants to go in and get their heart crushed. Of course not. That doesn't even have to do with ego. That just has to do with like, why would we ever, think, oh, it'll be fine. I'll go get my heart crushed. That sounds like a fun thing to do today. Of course not. Seven of Cups. I want to look closer at that. We have an Eight of Cups. that might be the real reason he's mostly concerned, because it's like, what if I'm reaching out to someone who is possibly not even interested, but is also not even there, like their headspace or heart space isn't even on the same page as me? Or what if this is somebody who already walked away from me? I feel like somebody has like an ocean theme in their bathroom or something, or maybe they have like an aquarium. But it's, if they have an aquarium in their house, they use the top of the tank for something else. Like they, to put something else on top of it as well. I feel like this is more decorative. Um, that's why it feels more like somebody's like painted that like in a bathroom, or some place in their home. It functions as something other than the sea life. The sea life is more for the backdrop, if that makes any sense. But he's very concerned. That could have to do with whomever this person is, this lover, that he would like to gravitate toward. Maybe she or he. I mean, here we see a feminine. And I will say that the serpent is right there behind her. This is something he has to still do before this year is out. But you're worried. You don't know. You don't know if she's gone. What does that mean? You don't know if she's gone, or you don't know if she's on the same page as you. Ooh, the Tower and the Judgment. Okay, so you don't know if she still has feelings for you then. So the King of Swords is over here saying, I don't know. Maybe all of her emotions were zapped. I'm getting this image of somebody going in for like a nerve ablation, like a pain in the back, pain in the neck, pain, going down the hip. And so they go in and have the nerves cauterized. This is looking more like nerves to me all of a sudden, instead of lightning. But, and perhaps that's happened to him, or perhaps it's like, God, I wish that I didn't have so much, like if we could, use that term more like as a metaphor and say, I wish I could like not have to feel my nerves being so jangled right now. But this feels like they had some kind of an ending, and we got kind of this lightning strike here, or nerve, and then we also have like the hand of the divine bringing light back to the situation and saying, if there's anything in this lifetime that we want, or we still want, then you're going to have to try to go get it again. You're going to have to, because you can't leave this stone unturned. It doesn't matter how long it's been. It doesn't matter how many years it's been. It doesn't matter how things ended. If you can't forget this, then why are you trying to? This is somebody that you want. This is somebody you at minimum want to make peace with. At maximum, you'd like to see in their birthday suit again. But it's true. You don't have any clue as to whether or not she, and we'll ask about her in just a second, but you don't have any idea how she feels about this whole thing. So I'm guessing that there's been some elapse of time here. Let's go over to her for just a moment. Who are you? Princess of Discs and Princess of Cups in the reverse. So she's like, I've never had an apology from this person ever. Now, this would normally be the page in any other deck, but right now we have princesses to depict the page card. So we'll keep saying she. She is somebody who is, kind of like restarted her life. She may have recently done something different with her life, or recently have started, like planting something, in her world. Because this is somebody who's just now rebuilding something. She could have moved. Maybe his fear about what if she's not there. Maybe that's more literal. What if she left? What if she doesn't live where she used to? What if I have a harder time finding her? But if we go back to the Tom Jones song reference, I don't know. Maybe they've been keeping tabs on her. Maybe that's why the term satellite is there, though. Maybe it's like, I'm going to have to figure out where she moved to, where she lives. But it looks like she could be someplace green, someplace where there's at least the ability to be outside. But this kind of looks new for her. What isn't new, or what isn't even on her radar, is hearing from them. No apologies, no love offers, no nothing. I would say she's not thinking about anything other than what she's planting in her life right now. It's funny because this card would have us believe that it's springtime, but then we have this poinsettia here, which should not be here. So we've got December, but then we also have her in this like seemingly springtime. So either she's, like in the southern hemisphere. And so, her December will be spring instead of winter, or I guess, you know, opposite, those of us in the northern hemisphere, or this just represents that by December she will be like really putting down roots in whatever her new life is. So this is either geographically speaking, she's in a different location by December, or she's just like building a different life for herself, regardless of what the season is. But it just says, especially by December, she will be pretty heavily investing in this different life. And Seven of Cups. And she's also in a place where it's like, because things in my life are different and new, I keep thinking that she's located to a different place. She may have a different job. She may live in a different town. And it's like, I haven't put down all my roots yet. So a lot of things are still possible. I'm just now planting my new life. I'm not 100% sure of how everything will shape up. So she does seem single. And she seems, she's just planting new seeds of her life. It feels like she could be living in a new town, doing something new. But it's like, I don't know exactly what my life's going to look like 7 months from now, because it's all still new. Two of Swords. She is determined to break through any old patterns of her life. Again, something about by snowfall. She wants to have she's got some goals between now and December, or now and January for sure. Part of this is she's really focusing on something that she's like, I have to create a new shape. She could be also like really into fitness, and she's like, I'm, getting shredded. I'm, turning my body into some very, whatever chiseled thing. The scissors make me think of somebody getting like shredded, using that term for like body fitness. We have an Eight of Wands and we have the Star. Okay, so she's definitely got way bigger plans for whatever it is that she wants to accomplish in life. And right now, she's like laying the foundation for that. She's very much investing in herself and a hope or a dream she has. She may want to become a star in whatever industry she lives in, works in. Maybe she's like attempting to like really rise and really, come out like very much a shining, symbol of achievement in whatever her wish or dream or goal may be. But we certainly have, with that Eight of Wands, like she's picking up momentum, not slowing down. Okay, in regards to you, by the way, she could be a painter. Specifically, she could do kind of abstract art when she does art, or like murals, like big paintings. I mean, we certainly see she gets all kinds of ideas, and we have all these, the color palette is there. But I feel like she's got a lot of divine inspiration. And that's the thing that she either is focusing on, like wanting to like achieve new goals. I feel like she's very happy. She's very like leaning toward her future. Anything in regards to him? Does she think about him, the King of Swords? Seven of Pentacles. She thought about him for a very long time. Does she still? This is normally a card of harvest. This is a card of time that already passed. And even here we can see this is very timely for like, round about this time of the year. We've got, the corn has been picked and is drying, and, the wheat is picked, and, everything's been harvested, and now we're turning it into, the food stores that we'll use throughout the coming, whatever months. I almost feel like she's only recently stopped thinking about him. Like she contemplated him for a very long time. Huh, interesting. She came to the conclusion that I have no idea what happened. I only know, it's not that I don't miss him sometimes, right? But we must have been on two different sides of some huge chasm that we just couldn't, bridge the gap, or they didn't want to bridge the gap. I feel like it's basically, this is the message. It says, I don't know, I guess he never wanted to talk to me again, because we never did. That's all I know. I have no idea what his thoughts are on the matter. So she thought about him for a very, very long time, winding thoughts. Always confused, though. Always confused about him. That last full moon that we had could have been particularly important for her. She could have really decided to let go. By the way, we do have a little tip of the hat to like New Zealand here, because we've got kind of a hobbit house over here. And isn't that where they filmed Lord of the Rings? Was New Zealand? we've got the devil. Okay, so she decided somewhere along the lines that this, maybe she was obsessed with him. You know what? All I can say is I have no idea what he thought of me, but I was kind of obsessed about him for a while. Couldn't help it. He was the most attractive man I ever met or woman I ever met. It doesn't matter what genders. He's got this red, like silky cord wrapped around the kind of like above the knee, not quite like a garter belt exactly, but that's significant for some reason. I don't know what that means. If he had that would be his left knee, like injury or issue or something that had to be taken care of. Maybe he has a bad knee, or he has in the time that she knew him. Or maybe this is like he never proposed. He did never go down on one knee. And honestly, he couldn't have because he has a bad knee, or he never would have for me. She may have decided that this was never going to go that way. And he's like waving his tambourine up above his head, kind of like it was more of a. I feel like she has very lusty memories of him, but when it comes to something more serious, I think she's saying I was kind of obsessed with him, but he never wanted like anything serious with me. That's the one thing that I think she's come to terms with. Now, it doesn't mean she's right, but this is what she's told herself. And we have the Ace of Pentacles. She's moving on from the thoughts of him. And I think this is fairly recent that she's let go of those thoughts of him and said, come on, when we're looking at the devil and we're looking at the moon and stuff, I think it's fair to say that she probably is like, I don't know what happened. I only know from my role in all this, I got to be more honest with myself. I really wanted this one. I have no idea what he thought of me. I do know when I think of him, he was dodging any more serious commitment possibly, but it was me who really wanted him. But anyway, moving on, new chapter of life. So that's where she's leaving things. She's just letting go of things, letting herself move forward is what it says. That definitely could be a bit of a problem because we do see him in this nervousness. We do see him saying, I got to go either fight for this or I'm very nervous. I don't want to get my heart hurt, but he obviously still wants this. I'm not sure what happened in the past. I don't want to delve too heavily into it, but can we briefly see what happened? And we're going to go for the higher perspective here, not ask them individually, because sometimes our characters have very different viewpoints and we can take a really long time to figure out what's fact from fiction. The universe says, look, what happened in the past is something that had to come full circle. This is the year to change things, right? So we've got Year of the Snake, we've got the full circle. The World card says, no matter what occurred, and by the way, there was a question of marriage. Maybe someone wasn't ready for marriage, so the relationship stopped because it wasn't going to get more serious. But it says that was always going to change. There was always going to be something that this situation was always going to come back around to the very beginning. Now, maybe this even represents like this is about the time that they met once upon a time. Like maybe this timeline, denotes like an anniversary almost of when they met each other, or maybe when they broke up with each other, or the last words they spoke with each other. It could be something in particular is like, this is where, the snake meets its tail, or the rubber meets the road, or, however we want to say that. But the universe is like, look, what happened in the past was something that had to like come full circle to be faced again. So I would say that the situation of the past, I don't know, but I was pretty sure that they weren't ever going to go down on one knee and ask me to marry them. That might be exactly what the situation was in the past, and the reason that these two weren't together. Maybe he didn't make his intentions known. Maybe he wasn't ready for anything more than lovers. I don't know if it's different now. The universe is saying, well, shedding an old skin, with the Year of the Snake, things should be different now, because why would we do something all over again for the exact repetitious cycle? I think that there is an understanding that the expectation is something better come out of this. This has to be more serious this time around. Okay, so let's take a look on his side. Universe, from again the higher perspective, is he in a place where he's ready for something more serious? Yes, he's ready for literally marriage. And here we go again with that. I said before it felt like very Spanish, very Latin, or perhaps Catholic. And again, we see it very much. At least this to me speaks of Catholicism. Once upon a time, one of the trips I took to Rome, I personally am not religious, not Catholic, but I, of course, if you're going to be in another country, I want to celebrate and experience everything. And so I went to see the Pope. He gives an audience at St. Peter's every Wednesday, and so and it was wonderful. It was such a great experience. It was delightful. There were all these groups that brought all these instruments, and they came from all around the world to see the Pope, meet the Pope, and they played their music as the bishops introduced them, and it was wonderful. I had such a great time. That being said, I'm still not Catholic, but I definitely respect other people's beliefs, and I just feel like this fits. We come back together, even though we're working with totally different cards, different decks. So there is something about this. I don't know if that's just a side note on this particular character. This is specifically on his side. Maybe he was not ready to be married. Maybe he was not ready to be divorced and remarried. Maybe there was something blocking him from being able to cross that path. But all of this, the crux of the story is about marriage. Maybe it's because he knows this is the one, and you need to be ready to do right by that person, because this is going to be really serious. And you notice he started out still kind of battered, by life, right? He started out, the very first card was the Nine of Wands along with the King of Swords. This is a wounded warrior card, and he's been a busy bee doing something, maybe trying to heal himself, maybe trying to conquer fears, maybe trying to get his own energy in order. And then he's still wearing his armor as he comes towards somebody that he loves. That does not speak of somebody who's like full of, good cheer and heroics. That speaks of somebody who's like, I'm weary, and I'm, feeling exhausted, and I'm also still standing though. And I really want this. This is really important to me. This is what I'd like to be vulnerable with this person, but I'm a little beat up. I'm a little tarnished. I'm a little tattered. And yet the universe says we have him in this place where it's like with that high priest, which this is the Hierophant in any other deck. It's card 5 in the major arcana. It's strong Taurus energy. Yes, he's ready. He's ready for marriage. He's ready to cross that bridge. It seems like that's the only circumstance under which he could step into her world, and the only circumstance under which this could go any differently. This is not a relationship where we're going to pick up and be like, oh, well, these two will kind of date a little. This was already, we have to be in it for the long haul or not at all. There's no in between for these two, at least not in this story. In this story, it's like they already know enough about each other to know this is the person I marry, but if I'm not ready to marry him, I can't even be around him, because there isn't a casual energy between these two. There never has been. Even on her side, she said, I think maybe I was obsessed with him. For somebody to admit that or say that about their own behavior, it's like, I don't think he was ready to marry me. Honestly, I don't know what he wanted, but I think I was obsessed with him. But I got to move on. I got to change this. I would say that there's so much intensity between these two, always was. And it's like the only way, at least for these two, to move forward is to make it really, really serious. Well, it looks like that's where he's at. Okay, universe, what about for her? Because she seemed to be very different. And she was saying she's letting him go, 10 of coins in the reverse. We do not see her saying that she still believes he's coming into her world. We see her departing from this concept, and we saw her with a very different image of the world. We saw her saying, I have no idea what he wanted, but I've just recently stopped thinking about him and started to say I might have just been obsessed with somebody that really was, I'm not going to say he only wanted my body, because I don't really know, but I know I was nuts about him, and I just That's the only thing I can do is take responsibility for my own actions and say, I want to do things different. So she's got the world on this Ace of Pentacles card saying, I'm going to just do everything different. And we saw that on her. We saw everything in her life is different. She is putting down roots in a new town, new lifestyle, and she's letting go of him. She does not have a dream or a hope or any like attachment to him. I'm going to say she probably did a little bit of cord cutting or something. Now he was afraid of that. If we go back to the card of the what I said was like the bathroom decor of the Eight of Cups, he was worried she might be gone. She might be over the whole thing. Just might be over it all. She is. She's intentionally saying, I got to let this go because I'll never get answers anyway, other than I think I was obsessed with him and I'm moving on. And we have the Eight of Cups and we have the Ace of Swords. Oh, the universe is like, yes, she literally, where she's at right now, he's not even a consideration. This is the higher perspective. This is the universe saying she has walked away from this. And it's because of all the unknowns. It's because she's like, we already saw the moon card on her side. He was worried that she might be in that Eight of Cups, the walking away energy. The universe is like, yeah, she cut the tie with him. She decided for her peace of mind. She needed to. She decided that I need to stop thinking about him. So I think she spent a lot of time obsessing over what the hell? What the hell? I don't get it. What the hell, does this mean? And it's so crazy because if we go back to that moon card, and I didn't mention it at the time that we were looking at it, but we do have the two wolves on either side of the river howling for each other. And, that alpha pair mates for life. If those wolves are howling, it's to find each other again. I'm wondering if she's like, I have no idea if he hurt over me. I have no idea if he cried over me. I have no idea if, his heart was calling out to mine because I didn't hear a squeak out of him. And when I think about it, maybe I was just obsessed with him. I could see why she basically told herself that story and why she's saying, no, after so long, remember she had the Seven of Pentacles. She managed to cut energetic ties with the thought of him for her like own sanity. She just accepted, I have no idea what he ever thought of me. And that's reason enough to let him go. If somebody can't tell you how they feel about you, if they can't, if they can stay away and they don't think about you, or they want to be with you, but they stay away instead of just like be there, then what are you supposed to do other than say, I don't know what's going on with them. I only know that they couldn't be the person I'm going to end up with or supposed to end up with if they're not around. So it's time I let this one go. She, to her credit, I think she just took responsibility for only what she could, which is, I know I think about him way too much or all the time, and I'm done doing that because he's not here. I got to go on with my life. He's not here. I have no idea if he, mourns for me, but he's not here. So I have to go. So she is done. This timing, I don't know, universe, what am I supposed to think about this for this story? Is the timing like this because it needed to go this way? Is this serendipitous? Is this Five of Coins? The universe is saying there needs to be the feeling of what happens when something is lost. Look, if she already dealt with the feeling of they're not here, I have no idea what they ever even thought of me, that would be a big, empty, gaping hole. To be that confused about how somebody even feels about you. And fives are numbers of change. I knew I was going to say, how much you want to bet we're going to get like the Libra scales. Now, granted, this is the High Priestess, not the Justice card. But for something to get balanced out, the universe is like, there almost needed to be, the other person has to feel the loss now. The other person has to be able to feel the concern of like, oh my God, what if it's too late? What if she's gone? What if I've, lingered, or I've been fighting my battles so long that she doesn't even hold space for me? What if she's not an option anymore? It almost feels like they're picking up on the fact that she has released this connection. That's exactly where they're at right now. They're feeling their big fear come true, which is what if she's not around anymore? What if she walked away? And it's like, well, of course, if you don't water your flowers wither and die. That's what happens with love too. You're never there. You don't give anything. You weren't willing to be in a bigger connection, despite however important this might have been. You weren't able to do that at that time, but then the alternative was you gave absolutely nothing and disappeared. Then, yes, she probably has moved on with her life. And it almost feels like that's the realization that they have to kind of like acknowledge and say, it's happened. She's moved on with her life. It almost feels like that is the energy that needed to play out, not to punish, but to maybe get some kind of like experience so that it can be like, well, this is what she went through, and now you're kind of going through it as well. Even though you're ready now, it may be too late. And that feeling of somebody not being around, their energy vacancy is being felt, is how it comes across to me. We have a Four of Swords. That's still her in kind of like a place where she's pretty much really, really, really done with this. I don't know if they're going to be able to maybe still have just a little bit of time to pop back in. But why were they not ready before? Let's just ask, and let's stay with this deck. Universe, why were they not ready before? Because people can't be ready before they're ready. We can't expect them to be ready. We have the Seven of Swords in the reverse. There is a truth here. What does that mean? The Ten of Wands in the reverse. They might have met her at a time, wanted to pretend that they were ready when they knew damn well that they weren't. They were still hurting over other things. They probably shouldn't have tangled with her at all, because they knew, I am so not over something else that happened in my life. Okay, so they stepped into something with her when they shouldn't have then. Three of Wands, they saw a future with her, but that's the whole thing about the future. I'm not ready for it today, but I want this for my future. I like the idea of being with her in the future, but I'm not ready for a future right now. And that is probably why this, they meet. It's this amazing opportunity. Oh my God, I met this person that I want. I see them in my future, but I don't see them in my present because I can't commit right now. I've got too many other wounds. I mean, look, that's not something somebody should have to be punished for, right? Honestly, it feels like freaking bad luck, and I'm a little annoyed with the universe right now. Why'd they even meet if it wasn't the right time? If somebody, he's not a villain just because he's not ready. The universe says that they met, though, because there is this sense of love, or there was supposed to be. And with that dove flying in, this should have been peaceful. But it doesn't look like it was. In fact, if anything, it looks like she was left very confused for a very long time until she departed. Three of Coins. The universe like, well, maybe these two were supposed to have worked together a little bit more. Maybe they should have worked on friendship, if not, instead of going all in and saying, like, if we can't get married right now, then forget it. We can't be around each other. This might have been more about like learn to collaborate in a different, less intense way in love. Learn what collaboration looks like, period, instead of walking away from each other if it couldn't be like the all or nothing. Honestly, that's kind of a good message, right? Why does something have to be so, Two of Pentacles. I don't know if this indicates that one of the two of them was more willing to have, just like found balance and, maybe tried. It just feels like this was a very intense situation where it was like, if we can't get married right now, then we can't even be around each other. And the universe is saying that's not really what the plan was. The plan was these two could have interacted and said, it's so lovely to meet somebody that I care very much about. I can tell that there's like some divine energy here. We could work on building trust with each other. We could start to, maybe try dating, or maybe say, if you're not ready to really date and move something forward, then how about we just be friends for right now? But I feel like they missed this opportunity. Let me just ask, Did you guys miss this opportunity? I feel like we should go back to them. Let's ask him first. Did you miss the opportunity? Or maybe it wasn't on the table, or maybe you guys didn't think about it. Yeah, Knight of Wands. It's like, yeah, no, we went right into the bedroom. Okay. Okay. And then ran away after that. Okay. And what about for her? Do you feel like you guys missed the opportunity to be, um, friends? She's like embodiment of cups, but we were in love. We were supposed to be together forever. We were the seahorses that mate for life. So they really went for passion on his side. For deep, profound love, they have to be my two of cups. We see a big problem with this duo, don't we? Because they also weren't on the same page. He was jumping in for passion, even though he wasn't going to be able to offer anything more than that, and then even that was too much, and then split. She was all about like, this has to be the love of my life, and we're going to be perfect together, and they're going to open up to me fully emotionally, and we're going to be together forever. But they kind of maybe felt that way right out of the gate, instead of like, hey, how about the friendship part of this? How about getting to know each other? How about saying, I really love being around this person. I love getting to know them. I love figuring out what areas of life we match in, how we support each other, how we communicate. This is the universe is like, I I wanted these fuckers to talk. Sorry. The universe probably doesn't use language like that, but we need some levity in this right now. Okay. So this kind of was a big drama that maybe didn't need to be so dramatic, according to the universe, had they been able to establish friendship first. Okay, fair enough. But at this point, she's kind of gotten over this and said, they're not showing up. I'm moving on. They're over here saying, I'm afraid she's already moved on, but this is not an opportunity that I want to totally miss. I want to come back around. So, what does this mean? Universe, final message on this. What does this mean? Are these two going to actually do it all over again and have the exact same scenario where they're like super super intense, or will these two also find a way to find balance, or is this just goodbye? We've got the Six of Swords, which is moving everything into calmer waters, which that sounds like a great outcome first and foremost. um, Particularly if he's in a calmer space, maybe this will set the tone of things differently. 10 of Wands, this is really wanting to like build some depth of understanding between the two of them, maybe connect, like in a more familial way. um, that could be amazing. We could clear out some old energy of the past. 10 of Swords talk about how things ended, which was, I think, very confusing because it looks like it was intense passion and then like nothing, and she was left having no clue as to how he ever felt about her at all. So there's a lot of opportunity to wrap up a bunch of stuff from the past and like hose it out, clean it out. 5 of Cups, and then actually maybe get to the point of saying, these are my tremendous regrets. This, you notice we do have kind of like, he starts the side out of it out. So I'm thinking it's him that's going to broach the subject and reach out to her. And I think he's going to be very blunt with what he would like to say. I'm a lot calmer now. Um, Everything that happened in the past is stuff that, these are cycles that I can't like let this be the way things end, because I've got way too many regrets. I've had a lot of sorrow over what the heck happened. This isn't the way it was supposed to go. If he reaches out with that, I'm wondering if that's going to get some decent response. I mean, this maybe that's the best he can do, is just to get it off his chest. These are my regrets. And that's another card of regret from the 5 of Cups, 4 of Cups. And we keep seeing him saying, these are the things I got to say. Prince of Sacred Circles sideways. This is also talking about like, I don't know if it'll be enough to change anything. It's kind of like he's saying, if I have to just let this go, I understand, but I didn't want to let it go unless I finally got this off my chest. The fact that I can finally talk or get these things off my chest. We don't know if it's going to be a timeline jump and this is the end of the road, or if this is just him saying, I'm going to keep mulling over this for a while. To me, it says this has already been a long time, and it's been hard to figure out like how to say these words. Got the High Priestess. Look, I know we said in this she'd let go. She, especially like recently, but I'm gonna say somehow it may not be a big shock that she hears these words from him. That's what it looks like. It's not going to be that big of a shock. That almost like there's a piece of her that always knew that that's what was going on, or a piece of her that always knew that this is probably, one day I'd probably hear from them. One day when I've let go is when I'd probably hear from them. And sure enough, we've got that Two of Sacred Circles. I don't see these two as being done with each other. I also don't know that I see these two as like, yay, let's get back together and we can now have a love story. It actually, if anything, says maybe we can just now start to see what these two are supposed to be to each other, or could become to each other. Maybe these are just two kindred souls that, were meant to interact with each other in this lifetime, or they wanted to interact with each other in this lifetime to help one another out. And maybe this is one of the things that they both needed to help each other out with. This just says that their story is not over, and in fact, they may find each other again and again in every lifetime. I don't really know these two will ever be free of each other. Maybe they're not supposed to be. Maybe they don't secretly want to be free of each other, even though she said she did. She also said, I think I was obsessed with him. This says when she hears from him, it's going to be like, well, of course I was going to hear from him. When 2 seconds ago it was like, no, I'm done. He's not part of my future. But I think all of that is a little bit always untrue. Look, anybody can move on if they want to, but this storyline, and please remember these are fictional characters, these characters don't actually want to move on from each other. Not in this lifetime, not in the previous one, and not in the next one. They're always still going to hold on to each other. Maybe they'll finally figure out like how to just be in love. I'm hearing the song by Rilo. I got a thing for you and I can't let go. I thought I should let you know. I got a thing for you and I can't let go. The same line always speaks loudest to me whenever that song comes up. I was just trying to love you. I don't know what the fuck you're used to. But it's a song about two people that love each other. They break up. She's going off having a baby with somebody else. And it's like, even that doesn't break the bond in the song. It's like, I can't help it. This is still the person that I got a thing for you and I can't let go. I'm not saying that's what these two are doing, breaking up, moving on, having children with other people, although that could have happened in a past life. It's just we're right now in this moment in time for these characters. But this tells us they have had stories. Oh, these two have had stories, and they will continue to have stories. I find this a very frustrating story because I'm like, then figure it out instead of spending all this time apart and wringing hands and big drama. But I'm a little impatient with never-ending stories that they don't quite get to the meat of the stories. And that's how this felt to me. Although perhaps I'm dead wrong, and that's what this whole thing was. We do see them possibly with those 2 10s, maybe finally, getting beyond some karmic cycle that they've been looped in. I want you, but I can't, I'm not ready, so I have to stay away from you, but I already stepped into a lover's tryst with you, but now I'll run away, leave you wounded, but I'll always come back to you right when you're over me, and I'm just sick of that dynamic, because I'm like, come on. There's no reason for the drama. But maybe this is the end of that drama. Maybe that's why we had to take it this far. We had to take it this long. It had to be 49 minutes long to get to that point. But Sassy Kate's a little grumpy. My alter ego who comes into these stories and like can't just be soft and gentle and be like, oh, how wonderful. Instead, I'm like, oh, please. You better figure it out this time because I want to tell this story again. We try to keep it light here. We do. We try to keep it light. There. Amen. Okay, can we do a mic drop? I need to get a microphone like a little fake one that I can drop every once in a while. I need a prop. That is it. Apparently, me being the sassy, mean aunt or, best friend nobody needs who's always got a mouth on them is that. I'm sorry, but I'm going to say, I said, can we just get to it? And they're finally like, okay, you're brawling over here, making a fuss. Fine. We're two of cups and we're ready to be together. Oh, thank God. Thank God. Look, I'm always rooting for our characters to get what they truly want. And the reason I was frustrated is because to me, I was like, they obviously want to be together, but they're going to make it so difficult. They're going to make it so there has to be gnashing of teeth and drama. And I just don't get why. And they're finally like, yeah, we don't get it either. How about we just do this thing? Good for them. Good for them. That's how I wanted it to go. Now I'm all happy. You guys, it's so great to see you. Good to see everybody. Denise, you're so cute. Feeling my soul. Kika, thanks for being here. Michelle, love. Uh, you're adorable. Michelle, love. Unless you got fur and 4 legs. Our pets are pretty special little like people in fursuits, aren't they? I know. I always say Aries is like my toddler. He's the baby I didn't get to have in this lifetime. Aries is, very much my baby. But then he's also like this very demanding, bossy, like tyrant, like roommate is how he feels sometimes because he bosses me around all the time. And then he's also a protector. And I'm like, pets play so many funny roles, He's like, oh, he's a nightmare. And then he's also like this adorable little baby. And then he's this hulking protector when he needs to be. So yeah, pets are amazing. AJ, so good to see you, babe. Oh, congratulations, honey. Oh, that's awesome. Moonbeam Wendy, great to see you. Authentically, hi, babe. You guys are so fun. Thanks for hanging out with me. Sometimes we get these really lengthy ones. I thought I was going to do like maybe a 15-minute video tonight over here. And then I'm going to go back over to the other channel and we still need to get to Leo, Taurus, and Capricorn. And I would like to get all 3 of those zodiacs still done tonight. But then the tarot dog stories always become epic sagas, don't they? DCB88, hey, darling. GR, nice to see you. Lane change, hi, hun. Lindell, hi, honey. I know. We hope it was not a gangrenous thing. That's not what it seemed like in my first thought. And I don't really know what the toes had to do with anything because that never really tied back into this, unless somebody was just painting their toenails. Hi, Katie. Murdog. That's awesome. Nellie. Hi, honey. Hasgari. Hi, love. Brandy Summers. Cosmo Guy. So great to see you. Oh my God, that's so awesome. Cosmo Guy, you're putting plants in the top and making it octopus themed. Oh my God, that's so cool. You have a tank in your bathroom. That's amazing. That sounds really awesome looking too. I bet that looks fabulous. Polka Dot Suzanne. Hi, honey. Hi, Ramon. Bruised like violets. Hi, honey. Oh, I'm so sorry. Was yours bruised? I'm so sorry. Sky Cole, you're so sweet. Ginger Montague. Hi, hun. Cataclysmic Awakening. And Anisha Tattoo, you were first in the house today. Sunflowers, Moon Power, AC. So wonderful to see you. Thanks again, feeling my soul. All right, you guys, I will see you on the other side. We're going to bounce on over to the main channel and we will get a couple of zodiacs done still tonight. Denisa, that's so sweet. You had a cat named Yoshi once, acting human and hugging you while you were sleeping, putting their paws around your neck. That's adorable. Oh, hey, Wendy. You're right, Wendy. We should be kinder to the mics. Why would we drop our mics, right? Good point. Hi, Holly Light. All right, you guys, take care. I'll see you on the other side. Lots of love. So true, Wendy. You're right. And those mics don't deserve it anyway. I don't really even know how did that phrase come about, mic drop, you know? I mean, I know like probably like Prince or something, right? Prince was so fond of like leaving with this great flourish. And before him, like James Brown, oh my God. Oh, what a performer. I got to see him twice before he passed on. And, he'd fake out, act like he was leaving and they put the cape on him and he'd come back. And it was just stellar. He's such a great showman. All right, you guys, lots of love. I'll see you on the other side. Bye for now.